But it teaches you that, but they also have a community service component during their whole years of being, if they decide to make their debut.
Right.
So Emma Claire definitely needs to be in
It's
the cotillion.
4th or 5th grade is
They
when
start
it begins,
when it
right?
begins, and then they make their
finishes up really
debut at 19.
right after your freshman year, oftentimes, for many of the students at college.
Usually the year after high school, there's
Right.
all sorts of courses they can take on resume writing and public speaking.
Is there a national association or national?
No,
it's
there
just
is
kind of a
individual
loosely
groups,
knit.
and it's probably more southern than
Right.
in other places, although New York has some cotillions as well, and Chicago.
Exciting. That's
Yes.
interesting. I wonder if a lot of mothers who may not have daughters ever get involved in that, or if it's principally mothers of
Oh
daughters.
yes, we have plenty of women whose
Any
sons
dads get involved?
it's a female club,
Women
a women's only
Oh,
club.
wow.
Although
Little-
there are cotillions in other areas where it's men's only.
Is that right? Yeah,
yes.
men are involved. That's fascinating.
Yes.
I think I also saw you've been active in the Coastal Community Foundation. What
I
exactly
was
is
on the
that?
board for 6 years, and that was one of the most interesting boards I've ever served on. And what it really teaches you is that each of us have a capacity to have your own foundation and to give back to the community. And so we started our family foundation through the Coastal Community Foundation called the Ought to Give Fund. My daughter's name is Audie, and we wanted to teach her that, and you don't have to have a whole lot of money in
I was
this.
about to say, what kind of money was,
no, I mean, you know, so we built it up over the years. It's
Right.
$10,000, and you have
Right.
the capacity to give back a portion of that to your community. But we wanted to teach our daughter to be able to find some, whether it was one charity or two nonprofits that she felt really strongly about, that she could identify, go work in, and then give money back to them.
How exciting, Kathy.
It is.
You think she's gotten a lot from it?
Oh, goodness, maybe
yeah.
too much. We're like, we got to give more.
She may be thinking about setting up her own, right? Separately.
Yes,
That's how exciting.
Yes, she's really involved with the SPCA.
Is that right?
Yes, and with breast cancer awareness.
Right,
And she,
right.
her best friend's mother died at 18, or on her best friend's 18th birthday. And so she's been really involved in Relay for Life. And
Right.
so I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, you've got to be. Well, of course, she must be taken after her mother on a lot of this, seeing that you were the past president and the chair of the capital campaign for the YMCA in your area. You've obviously gotten active in a lot of community service.
Well, Somerville is just such an incredible town, but there were some things that were holes that were missing, and I had a chance to be with two great mentors, along with my husband, who also loves Somerville. And
Right, sure.
it's amazing if you get a group of people together and decide you're going to make some changes, you can do it. So.
Oh, yeah, very definitely. I got to ask, knowing, and I think I told you earlier on that I would ask this, but with your undergraduate or master's in psychology and counseling, how did you get on the USC Engineering and Computing Advisory Board?
Boy, they really must have been desperate. Right? No, it was interesting. BP is very involved in recruiting female engineers.
Great.
There's a real need for them.
Right, right.
And I got a phone call one day, and they said, BP has been very generous to us, and we have this board of engineers.
Right.
We're trying to move the college forward, but we need someone who is looking from the outside, an external view. And so I am their external view right now.
That is fascinating. That's
Yes.
wonderful. Well, good. Speaking of BP, I saw that BP is donating 50 SUVs, a different kind of SUV.
Yeah, they're called bad boy buggies. They're huge utility vehicles.
Solar.
But they're solar powered.
Right.
We developed these, and they're promotional at this point. We hope at one point that they will be out and people can buy them, particularly with gas prices the way they are.
Right.
But they're solar powered. They can run up to 30 miles an hour, and
Wow.
but again, they're utility vehicles.
Right, sure. So particularly good for wildlife or parks. I saw
parks,
some of the places
yes.
y'all are donating those.
We're going to be donating one to Clemson University to their engineering department.
Sure.
We have donated them to the Park Service, to the Eagle Conservancy in New York. So just looking at different places that we see a need.
You know, Kathy, I was fascinated. I saw a full-page ad recently in a newspaper that highlighted this question simply: should America pursue more American oil and gas. Is that something that BP supports?
Definitely. I mean, if gas is, over $4, we possibly could see a $6, gas price. I mean, we've got to do something. We have China online, we have India coming in, and we have to find some sources here. It's here, but I think we as Americans have to decide, do we want to drill off the coast of Myrtle Beach?
Right.
I mean, there is oil and gas there. If not, do we want to come up with some other energy efficient means, some new hybrid cars or something? But yes, I think that is here, but we as a nation have to decide if we're going to go forward with something like that.
That's fascinating. Well, we're going to have to get you up to Myrtle Beach sometime to talk about that. We've only got about 5 minutes, and I've got to ask, since we talked a little bit about it during our time here a couple of weeks ago, judging, am I correct you're actually working on a book or a couple of books?
Well, working would be the operative word. It would be
Please.
the operative word.
Are you willing to share with viewers a little bit about what's
yes,
going on?
about 10 years ago, I started writing the premise of the book, and it was about 3 women who walk every day.
I love it.
And they tell stories, of their days growing up in upper South Carolina, or one growing up in the PD area.
Right.
And as you walk, these stories develop, and then over the years they have family, and so it's sort of a saga of Southern women,
right.
Golden Girls versus meets maybe not Sex in the City, but they wear high heels sometimes.
I love it.
Not when they're walking.
Yeah.
Not when they're walking. But it's a story of friendship, the beauty of long-term friendship with women.
Right,
So,
right.
But after being a judge, I think there is a book in the making right there.
Oh, yeah. You mean of judging? Judging state pageants or...
Well, just being with the judges
just
and
being
listening.
with the judges, yes.
And
we have an
hearing
eclectic
comments.
mix of folks. I mentioned that Dr. Adrian Johnson will be with us tomorrow. Last week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, Jack Cooper, our head judge, was
yes.
with us on Tuesday. It was fascinating, and of course was instrumental in helping keep the group together. And real-life judge Allison Renee Lee was with us on Wednesday.
I know.
Like yourself, had been at the McNair Law Firm for a number of years.
Yes, we were. We were there, and I mean it is. But I was fascinated by the stories within the judge's room.
Right.
I think you ought to make it a reality TV show.
Oh yeah, it could be. We were supposed to talk to our director about that, since he knows a lot about reality.
This is a
TV
reality
shows.
TV show for sure.
Well, it is. It was fascinating to see the group together and to think about some of the highlights over the course of the week. And there was still so many things going on. At the end of the week, it seemed like it could keep going on. There were so many amazing things.
Were you exhausted?
I was exhausted. I was exhausted. I was probably exhausted after the first weekend, let alone the entire 10-day stretch.
But it was worth it. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was great.
And as you think about, for you, we talked a little bit about some of the differences between the pageantry back in the 70s. Hate to date that, but to the present, and to think about some of the advances, it is the young ladies in the world essentially have really advanced quite a bit.
And the other thing about the pageant I realized was while I was there is that there's one winner, but every girl that was there wins. Right. I mean, they are out there. They're walking across the stage. I mean, I just think that every one of them was a winner and will be a winner as they go forward. It is such a confidence builder.
Absolutely. That's a very good point. Speaking about winners, I was trying to think how Kathy Randall, as active with BP America, as a mother, as a wife, as obviously a community servant, how do you have time to actually work on a book or go walking at all? I just can't even fathom it.
Well, a multitasker, I guess. No, I just think that there are certain moments, you have to have privacy moments just for yourself to find out, to continue to grow, and I think that's my, I always say my Valium is reading or writing, and so as long as I can have some time to sit down and just be with myself, I can do it.
Did that start at an early age? Was that something your parents spurned, or a particular teacher? Was there somebody who inspired you to read and write?
I have a journal that I started when I still have it, when I was 7 years old.
Is that right? We want to get our hands on that. Yeah.
It was
from age 7.
I was in love with Eric Mullinax.
Oh, wow.
That's what it says.
I love it. I love it. Are there some things in there? Did you ever think about that? Were there things that you wanted to redact at some point, or if you ever died, that you wouldn't want people to see, or were there things you wanted to make sure they saw about you?
Well, it was just for me, but after I've gone back and read it, I've let my daughter read some of them.
Is that right?
And
yeah,
she is,
some.
Some, yes, some. And she has laughed so much and said, "You really thought that then?" So it's been a great opportunity for dialogue with her.
Cathartic,
and so
yeah.
she has started keeping her own journals too. So.
That's tremendous, Kathy. I'm sorry we've run out of time.
Oh,
Thanks
gosh,
so much for being
and
with
I'm
us
so
this
glad
morning.
to see you again.
Yes, after 2 weeks away,
After 2
we're going to
weeks
have to
away.
find a way to have a reunion.
We will.
Very definitely. Stay tuned to a little more with Kathy Randall coming up next. You know, most folks would be satisfied with a college degree, just simply making it through 4 years of school. What about Kathy Randall? Is that a chance? No, she decides to go on and get a master's in education and counseling. Is she stopping there? No, she decides to come on back 10, 15 years later and actually take another 3 years of school, getting a law degree. Anything else? I know a lot of viewers want to know that. You're going to have to catch her another time. We'll get her up to the beach or up to the PD and get an opportunity to spend some time with Kathy, learn more about BP America and the amazing things they're doing throughout the country to make a difference. Kathy, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.